Hey there. You know that feeling when you light a candle inside a pumpkin and suddenly it feels like Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
Well, get this. We're diving into the history behind that very tradition, the jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, very nice.
And let me tell you, it's got twists and turns you wouldn't believe.
It really does. It's true. This seemingly simple tradition, it's like a window into centuries of folklore and migration,
Okay.
our evolving relationship with the supernatural. It's fascinating how something so playful can have such deep roots.
So we're talking more than just carving techniques here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready to have my mind blown.
Okay.
Where do we even begin?
Believe it or not, forget pumpkins for a second.
What?
The earliest versions of this tradition, from the British Isles,
Okay.
especially Ireland, involved carving lanterns out of root vegetables.
Huh.
Turnips, beets, even potatoes.
Wait, seriously? Carving a beet. I could barely chop one into a salad without making a mess.
Right.
I have to admit, I'm feeling a newfound appreciation for the humble pumpkin.
I can imagine. Those root veggies don't exactly scream easy to carve, do they?
No.
But they were readily available and served a similar purpose, bringing light to the darkness. It's fascinating how the tradition adapted when Irish immigrants came to America. Pumpkins, with their size and color, must have seemed like a gift.
It makes you wonder, though, was it just practicality or did the pumpkin symbolism play a role?
You've hit on a great point. Pumpkins were already associated with the harvest and abundance in many cultures,
Right.
so they fit right into the autumnal celebrations. They represented the bounty of the season, a stark contrast to the darkness creeping in.
I see what you mean. Okay, so we've got these spooky glowing veggies, but what about the name? Where does Stingy Jack come into play?
Now that's where the real story begins. The
Yeah.
name Jack-o'-lantern comes from an old Irish legend, a cautionary tale about a blacksmith named Jack.
Okay.
A man known for his cunning, his fondness for drink, and let's just say his less than saintly behavior.
Oh, I love a good spooky story. You know, I'm a sucker for those.
Yeah.
So this Jack fellow, he wasn't exactly winning any Good Samaritan awards, right? What landed him in such a legendary predicament?
Well, as the story goes, Jack had a knack for getting himself into trouble, and one fateful Halloween night, he found himself face to face with the devil himself.
Okay, talk about a bad case of the Mondays, or I guess a spooky Saturday night. You have to wonder what was going through his mind in that moment.
It seems Jack was never one to back down from a challenge.
Oh,
Even when that challenge came in the form of the Prince of Darkness, instead of panicking, he saw an opportunity. He struck a bargain with the devil, asking for one last drink before departing to the underworld.
classic Jack.
Mm.
But I'm guessing he didn't exactly have the funds for a last call.
Exactly. He claimed to be penniless, and in a move that could only be described as audacious, convinced the devil to turn himself into a sixpence to pay for the drink.
Okay, I can see where this is going, and let me guess.
Yeah.
Jack had absolutely no intention of using that sixpence to pay for the devil's drink. Right?
You know, instead he quickly scooped up the sixpence, popped it into his purse, and, well, it just so happened that his purse had a silver clasp
Uh-huh.
shaped like a cross.
No way. He trapped the devil with a cross. That's some next-level trickery.
Yeah.
What did this devil do?
As you can imagine, the devil was none too pleased. He raged and threatened Jack, but Jack, ever the negotiator, saw another opportunity. He agreed to release the devil,
Okay.
but only on one condition: he would be granted 10 years free from any torment, from any repercussions for his, shall we say, colorful life choices.
So he basically used his one phone call to bargain with the devil, talk about high-stakes negotiation. But 10 years isn't exactly a lifetime. What happened when the devil came knocking a decade later?
Well, you can bet that when Halloween rolled around again, the devil was back, ready for round two. And Jack, true to form, hadn't exactly used that decade to get on the straight and narrow.
Of course not. It wouldn't be much of a story if he'd suddenly become a saint, would it?
No!
So how did he manage to outsmart the devil a second time?
This time they were walking through an orchard, and Jack, always one for a tempting offer, asked the devil to grab him an apple from a particularly high branch. Ah, I see you using those devilish powers for a little snack break. But we've already learned that Jack always has something up his sleeve. He didn't just want an apple, did he?
You're catching on. As the devil climbed the tree, Jack quickly carved a cross into the trunk, trapping him once more.
He did not.
Desperate to be free, the devil agreed to Jack's final demand never to come for his soul.
Wow, talk about pushing your luck.
Hmm.
Not once, but twice. He really thought he could outsmart death, or at least the devil, permanently.
That seems to be the case.
Wow.
But as they say, every deal, even one made with the devil, has its expiration date.
Jack eventually died.
Okay, that part was inevitable.
Hmm.
But I'm guessing this is where things get really interesting, right? What happens when a man who tricked the devil himself knocks on heaven's door.
You can imagine the scene. Let's just say that a lifetime of pranks and trickery hadn't exactly earned Jack a place among the angels. He was turned away.
Not so surprising.
Yeah.
But he had that deal with the devil, right? Surely hell had to honor the contract, right?
That's where things take a truly tragic turn. The devil, bound by his word, couldn't take Jack's soul. He was condemned to wander the earth for eternity, a restless spirit with no place to go.
Stuck between heaven and hell. That's rough. No wonder he's the poster child for Halloween. But where does the lantern part of the story come in?
Well, as Jack was cast out into the darkness, he pleaded with the devil for some light to guide his way. The devil, perhaps feeling a flicker of pity or maybe just wanting to get rid of him for good, tossed him a burning coal from the depths of hell.
Okay, that's a visual. So what did Jack do with the burning ember?
Resourceful as ever, he scooped up the coal and placed it inside a turnip he had with him.
Okay.
It became a makeshift lantern, illuminating his path through the endless night.
So the first jack-o'-lantern was a turnip. That's a far cry from the smiling pumpkins we know today.
It is, isn't it? And that's actually how our modern jack-o'-lanterns came to be. People started carving scary faces into turnips and eventually pumpkins, hoping to ward off evil spirits like Stingy Jack. They'd place them on their doorsteps or windowsills, little beacons of light in the darkness.
So it wasn't just about decoration, it was about protection. It makes you see those carved pumpkins in a whole new light, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's a tradition that has evolved over time. We might not worry about restless spirits quite as much these days, but those deeper meanings, the light versus darkness, the interplay of life and death, they still resonate, don't they?
Absolutely. It's like those flickering candles inside the pumpkins. A reminder that even in the darkest of nights, there's always a glimmer of hope, a little bit of light to guide our way. But speaking of those flickering lights, I gotta say, after learning all this, I don't think I can look at a jack-o'-lantern the same way again.
It really changes your perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, those flickering lights.
Yeah.
They take on a whole new meaning.
It's not just about warding off imaginary spirits anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's about
Yeah.
remembering where this tradition came from, acknowledging that human desire to confront the unknown
Yeah.
with a little bit of light and maybe even a bit of humor.
That's a great point. It's like we've taken something that was born out of fear and uncertainty
Right.
and turned it into a symbol of celebration and resilience.
And creativity.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not forget the artistry
Absolutely.
involved in carving those elaborate pumpkin masterpieces these days.
Absolutely. From humble turnips to elaborate pumpkin displays.
Oh.
The jack-o'-lantern has become a canvas for creativity and a testament to how traditions can evolve without losing their essence.
You know, it's funny how something as simple as a carved pumpkin can spark such a fascinating conversation.
It speaks to the power of tradition, doesn't it? How these rituals and stories connect us to the past and continue to resonate with us on a deeper level.
It makes you wonder what future generations will make of our jack-o'-lanterns. Will they see them as spooky relics of a bygone era, or will they find new meaning in those grinning faces and flickering flames?
That's the beauty of tradition, isn't it? It's a living thing constantly being reshaped and reinterpreted by each generation. Who knows what stories will carve into our pumpkins in the years to come?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, this deep dive into the jack-o'-lantern has definitely given me a lot to think about this Halloween.
Me too. It's a reminder that sometimes the most fascinating stories are hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to take a closer look.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our jack-o'-lantern journey. But hey, maybe next time you light a candle inside a pumpkin, you'll think of Stingy Jack and the long, strange trip of the jack-o'-lantern.
And maybe share that story with someone else. After all, the best traditions are meant to be shared.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Until next time, may your pumpkins be bright, your Halloween merry, and your deep dives always enlightening.